Godzilla.
Whoa. Stop. Cut the film. Godzilla does not do that. That is not Godzilla.
And he's hurting people and we don't know why.
And they're the last one standing.
You're joking. That is Godzilla?
It's Godzilla.
This makes no sense. What other possibility could this... Oh. Is that so?
Incredibly so.
Alright then, you're forcing me out of hibernation. Let's do this. Hello everyone, General James Game here, and welcome back to another video. August of 1962. That was when the first fight occurred. 59 years later, and the same titans go at it again. The legendary God of Destruction versus the eighth wonder of the world. King versus King. Kaiju versus Kaiju. Godzilla versus King Kong. Welcome back to another video, guys. Yes, I have returned, back to answer the unanswered, to fathom what is unfathomable, and to reenact Prometheus and give the gift of knowledge to man, minus the whole liver being pecked at by a bird. If you are a usual viewer of this channel, then you would know that a lot of my work is Godzilla based. All the way from my younger years when I would make paper animations of the King of the Monsters, to today, where I answer the theories that are proclaimed by both viewer, YouTuber, and fan. Now I will admit, I am a little late to the answering theories party, but rest assured, what I will fail in timing, I will make up for in quality and quantity. So as we all know, the trailer for Godzilla vs. Kong is finally out, and the film just merely 2 months away before we view it, and discover who is the true King of the Monsters. But after watching the trailer, I felt a little bit uneasy with the whole result. As you have probably picked up by the whole outburst I had at the beginning of this video, I have noticed things from out of the ordinary, and I am here to address it with you people. This is the first act of violence Godzilla has actually directed at humanity. A rampage that simply has no answer, no motive. So what does that mean? Has Godzilla, the one that has protected us from 2014 to today, betrayed us? Simply seen us as a plague that needs to be eradicated? No. It takes a lot of motivation for a hero to turn villain, and as such, I don't believe that this is the Godzilla we have all grown accustomed to. So for those of you who are interested in seeing this video further, I would like to throw out 2 disclaimers here. 1. If you have not seen any of the recent Godzilla films, such as 2014 and 2019, or if you haven't seen Kong Skull Island, I would recommend going and watching those films before coming back to this video. Have you done that? Bravo! Now we can move on to the next disclaimer. Now, I am not original, at least in some senses. This is me purely and simply putting my opinions to you people. I've seen the trailer numerous times, and I have also seen other YouTubers analyze this trailer. So if you haven't gone and seen their videos, I would recommend it greatly, because they make some brilliant content. And if you don't know who to go check, do keep in mind, I do reference my sources. Let us begin with this video, an analysis on the greatest film to ever come out in 2021, Godzilla vs. Kong. So the first theory or question I would like to answer today is, why is Kong acting now rather than before? As we all know, these are not two universes becoming one. The stories of Godzilla and Kong are merely in the same universe, just different timelines. One universe, two stories. But in 2019, we witnessed the reign of King Ghidorah in his attempt to take control over the Earth by vanquishing all of mankind. Calling all kaijus to his command, he began his extinction plan for all of humanity. But two kaiju simply did not bend to his will, and that was Godzilla and Kong. But my general, Kong wasn't in 2019's film. Fear not, because I am very aware of that. But if you had watched that film thoroughly, you would be very aware that they said the monsters on Skull Island were moving. Now this little line did fascinate me, but I don't think it was meant for Kong, and here's my reasoning why. As pointed out by Tommy H, another YouTuber who does analyses on Kong Skull Island and Godzilla, and a lot of other films at that matter, he pointed out a key observation. When we first meet Hank Marlowe, he points out that Kong is still a juvenile, merely a child who is still growing, and as we're all aware, children do not simply obey their elders. So when King Ghidorah did ascend to the throne as the king of all monsters, Kong may have heard the sounds, but he chose to ignore them. The second piece of reasoning behind this is that Kong strikes me more as an alpha predator, not a minion. As such, like Godzilla, he does not bend to the will of the others. But there are other monsters on the God's Island, the devils that live below. While Kong may have killed off the skull crawler, the big one to be specific, maybe others of their race survived, or maybe there's other monsters there entirely. In the trailer, we see these things. Flying monsters that seem to have aggression towards Kong. One idea I have at the moment of how the scenario is going to play is that the reason why one of the characters says this line,
We need Kong. The world needs him to stop what's coming,
is because Kong, and Skull Island as well, have been under surveillance by Monarch. This quote, and perhaps this scene here,
We have to take it.
is the aftermath of this scene.
The myths are real. There was a war.
Rather than being knocked out and brought along to the mainland, perhaps Kong got in a bit of a fight, one he could not win. He was severely injured, and Monarch had to step in to help him. After that, they decided to bring him across to the mainland, where they could heal him up and make him stronger. This scenario could be a little bit different as well, because perhaps these monsters were showing up on the mainland, and the world needed Kong, seeing as Godzilla was nowhere to be found. They knock out Kong, they bring him across, and Kong gets rid of the monsters for them. Now this next theory I have is one that has been questioned by a lot of people. Is this Godzilla the Godzilla? And in my opinion, no, this isn't Godzilla. Based on his behaviour in the past, Godzilla's approach to humanity has been somewhat neutral, not really caring if they get hurt, but also being careful to not destroy them. And we can see this happen numerous times in the Godzilla 2014 movie. But in the trailer, this doesn't seem to happen at all. Godzilla literally breaks through a ship, destroys a couple of aircraft, and then proceeds to attack Kong and the aircraft carrier. And also the fact that Godzilla literally gets pummeled by Kong when he arises on the aircraft carrier. This might be for cinematic effect, I don't know. But the fact that Godzilla isn't able to fight back is fascinating. Which brings me to this image. On this screen is the outline of another giant monster, one that looks vaguely familiar don't you agree? The monster we have all known and come to love. That's right, that's Godzilla right there. Accompanied by red markings all along his chest, outlining his gills and possibly his eyes. Which then brings me to another scene, the very first. Now this was pointed out by another YouTuber, goes by the name of Alturi. And she observed this very scene. Look at the top right, and tell me, does something look amiss to you? There it is, the same red eyes accompanied by a silvery metallic body. That is not Godzilla we're seeing, that is Mecha Godzilla. For those of you who don't know the story, let me sum it up nice and quickly. Mecha Godzilla was essentially a copy of the original Godzilla, but in a more metallic form. Constructed by an alien race, this mechanical version of the kaiju was set about to destroy the real Godzilla as well as the rest of humanity. Disguised as the original king of the monsters, Mechagodzilla began its rampage under the control of its alien creators. Luckily, Godzilla, along with the assistance of another kaiju known as King Caesar, were able to destroy it before it could harm any more people. Since then, Mechagodzilla has shown up in several other forms, such as the human weapon known as Super Mechagodzilla, and also the human weapon, Kiru, both built with the same intentions, to kill the other Godzilla. Jumping to the present, this appears to be Mechagodzilla, and we know that from proof because Mechagodzilla has been stated to be in this film. Toys of this robot have been manufactured, and more evidence keeps rolling in each time we take a look at this film. If you have a look at this image and this image, you will see a distinct similarity between them. Can you see it? The red glow in his chest, perhaps? This is definitely a robot version of Godzilla constructed by humanity for some sort of mysterious purpose, which we'll discuss in a bit later. Now we know from the past film that Mechagodzilla was able to assume the disguise of the original Godzilla, and perhaps this Godzilla that Kong is fighting is Mechagodzilla. And as pointed out by Alturi, the reason why Godzilla might be getting pummeled, quite literally, is the fact that its human controllers perhaps have no experience fighting other kaiju, and as such, their puppet-like avatar of destruction acts more as a monkey's punching bag rather than an actual foe. Seriously, if you're going to destroy a monkey, you might as well just chuck an atomic bomb at it rather than an actual monster. Godzilla can survive it because he feasts on radiation, meanwhile Kong, we have no evidence to support the fact that he actually can resist radiation. So, we know that Mechagodzilla is in this new film. We know that Mechagodzilla is able to assume the disguise of the actual Godzilla. We know that Mechagodzilla is a terrible fighter, and we know he's controlled by humans, but we don't know what exactly these humans are, or what their intentions are. But if this is truly Mechagodzilla, then where is the actual Godzilla? Which leads me on to this next theory. Take a gander at this fight and you'll see below Kong's feet are the outlines of a very familiar form. Now a couple of other YouTubers have investigated this, but it is not exactly foolproof. This is merely an estimation, a guess. But with Godzilla's previous home being nuked, what if Godzilla returned to another home he knew, which was underground? And this outline of him is him hibernating, absorbing radiation, and healing from his last fight. We know from 2014 that Godzilla's fights leave him rather weary. And we also know that after a fight he retreats to the only place he knows as home. In 2019 we don't see this at all. We just see it end with Godzilla and the other monsters bowing to him. So what if Godzilla is hibernating and absorbing radiation? We also know from 2019 that the absorbance of radiation and this regeneration phase does take a lot of time, but it is also sped up by a nuclear bomb. Now this is also another theory, but what if this is actually a prison for Godzilla? With Godzilla indisposed, Kong is the only thing that stands against Mechagodzilla, so humanity uses Kong in a desperate act to try and kill off Mechagodzilla and free the other Godzilla in the hopes that he will help. Now this isn't exactly a theory, but it's more a sub-theory, and it is, if Mechagodzilla is the real threat, where did he come from? Well, look no further than 2019's film and its post-credit scene. In this scene, we see one of King Ghidorah's severed heads. Now we know from older films that Mechagodzilla was created by Mecha King Ghidorah, when humanity found the remains after Godzilla and Mecha King Ghidorah's fight, and this led to the creation of Mechagodzilla 2. Now while this may not make any sense, but considering this isn't Mechagodzilla we're talking about in 2019, perhaps it has some significance, considering without Mecha King Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla may never have been created, and if this has some sort of relation with the older films, then this is key in discovering Mechagodzilla's origin. Now that we've discussed Mechagodzilla's origin, let's talk about motive. Now, there are three possibilities when it comes to why this Godzilla is trying to kill the original. At least that's what we can guess from other incarnations of Mechagodzilla. The creators are either a group that do not like Kong, do not like Godzilla, or do not like Monarch. Now with Kong, this story plays out a little bit more complicated. Perhaps this Mechagodzilla is also trying to destroy all other monsters because Godzilla won't finish the job himself. With Kong being the only other active kaiju aside from Godzilla, Mechagodzilla decides to target him first. In the case of Godzilla being the target, Mechagodzilla goes after Godzilla's rival, and then decides to take his anger out on humanity as well. This could be Mechagodzilla's way of luring out the real Godzilla by either killing his rival and posing a greater threat, or by killing his minions, humanity, and proceeding to be another greater threat to humanity in addition to what King Ghidorah was. In the case of Monarch being the prime suspect, this could be a group that was a branch of Monarch but then split away after Serizawa's death. Perhaps Serizawa and this character have had some sort of relationship. Father-son, perhaps. If it's not a quest for vengeance this character seeks, it's probably just one of these loony psychos who believe that humanity deserves a clean slate. Now onto one of my final theories. Perhaps not the final one, but maybe one of the final ones. What if this isn't Mechagodzilla in its entirety? And what if this isn't Godzilla as well? What if this is another one of Godzilla's kind? We know that there was at least another one of Godzilla's kind who was named Dagon, the god who put the fallen star to rest, perhaps referencing to King Ghidorah, and also the Godzilla that was killed by 2 eggs implanted by the Muto Prime. This was an investigation conducted by Dangerville, another YouTuber who pointed out Godzilla's origin stories and also Dagon's origin stories. So what if this is another one of Godzilla's kind that has decided to surface from its hibernation? But also, what if this is a Godzilla that doesn't feel inclined to protect humanity and sees it more as a drawback to be able to have to protect and fight off other monsters? As such, with Godzilla out of the picture, nowhere to be seen, the world has to rely on Kong to battle this other threat. And the reason why he's getting pummeled is perhaps because this Godzilla hasn't had a lot of experience compared to the original Godzilla, considering Dagon was easily beat by the Muto Prime, meanwhile Godzilla was able to destroy it, or at least defeat it in some way. So this could be another scenario of Godzilla being the big tough brother, and this one being merely the jealous younger brother who can't fight. Now, my final theory for this video is who will win? Now listen, this is purely my own opinion. If you disagree with it, that's fine, because you may not like Godzilla as much as I do, but hear me out. If everything plays out and this is in fact Godzilla we're seeing in the trailer, then this will be truly a clash of the titans. In my personal opinion, I think Godzilla wins this fight due to his battle experience, his abilities, and also the cinematic effects of the trailer. We see Godzilla getting pummeled and beaten by Kong in all different kinds of manners, but perhaps this is what the directors are going for. They want us to think that Kong has the upper hand, but maybe Godzilla is going to win in some regard. We know Godzilla to be tough and rather tenacious, considering that he was able to survive an oxygen destroyer, the device used to originally kill the first Godzilla in 1954. And through all of this, Godzilla has proven that he is truly the king of the monsters. Kong, maybe not so much. Considering as well, Godzilla has held this title for his whole life. Maybe not his whole life, but a good portion of it. Kong has never stepped out of Skull Island as we know it yet. And as such, Godzilla seems to be a more capable king rather than Kong. Thirdly, Godzilla's series has gone on for quite some time. Not in terms of the Japanese one, but in the American one. Godzilla has had 2 movies about him, and Kong has only had 1. I believe Warner Brothers and Legendary want to try something different by playing with this new kaiju, Godzilla. Kong has been an American franchise ever since his first movie. Godzilla, on the other hand, has always been a Japanese franchise. Perhaps they want to try something new, with Godzilla rather than Kong. And as such, I believe Kong will fall, as his story is over, and Godzilla will remain triumphant, because his story is far from over. Considering as well, maybe this is a director's trap. We're made to believe that one is going to fall, but meanwhile, the 2 of them walk away from the fight. Defeating Mechagodzilla, these 2 simply shake hands, walk off, and never see each other again. Godzilla was never bothered by Kong or his family in the past, so why should it bother him now? I believe both titans will walk away from this fight alive, but we will not know for sure until the film comes out. But these trailers have such a grand fascination, and I believe that the energy is greater then than it is when you first see the film. Legendary truly lives up to its name, as it makes these films legends themselves. I have been General James Game, and I thank you for viewing this video. If you have a theory of your own, or if you have opinion on who's going to win this fight, be sure to comment it down below, like this video, and subscribe if you haven't. I'm going back into hibernation now until the film comes out, and then maybe you will see another video. But until then, recruits, you are dismissed. Take care. Also, with that theory of Godzilla being currently indisposed, trapped underneath rock and that in deep hibernation, we have seen it happen before in the 2004 Godzilla film Final Wars. Just another piece of evidence that falls into this category. Alright, I'm done now. Goodbye.